got a joke I wrote for our opening.
Okay. Can't wait.
Okay. You ready for this?
I'm ready.
Okay. What did the beaver say to his wife after she complained about their current living situation?
I don't know.
He said, "Frankly, my dear, I can't build a dam."
Your mother is watching this. We don't say that word.
It's PG. It's okay.
You know, we should probably ask our viewers to write our cold intros.
That would be fun. They're probably more talented than we are at that, honestly.
Well, you know, it was quite clever, son. It really was.
Thank you.
Clever.
Thank you.
Yes. Can you guess what film we're talking about?
As I sip loudly.
As you sip loudly?
Gone with the Wind. If you can't tell by the title of this YouTube video,
Right.
Gone with the Wind. Yeah. This is our 16th episode.
16th.
16. We can drive. Our podcast can drive. 16 weeks old. Our podcast can drive. Sorry. I've acted like it was 16 years.
We need a comic writer.
We do. So Gone with the Wind. Guys, if you're new here, we've been doing our series on great performances in cinema and film history. That's my long version of your title, because I thought there was a long one, but I forgot. Yeah, we're if you're new here, we always review these movies, and we've assumed that you've watched them. So go ahead, and if you haven't watched it, pause right now and go watch it.
It's only 4 hours out of your day.
It's only 4 hours. It won't take that long. Yeah. So before we get into this, for our little intro, I do want to give like a little caveat, because this film, just as on a serious note, this film has some uncomfortable aspects, including like glorification of slavery and racist Southern practices during the Civil War, stuff like that. And I wanted to mention them because we don't want to pretend that we're qualified enough to talk about that stuff. But at the same time, we think it's important to recognize those things and learn about history so we don't repeat those same mistakes in our, going forward. And so we wanted to give you guys some resources if you wanted to look into that stuff further about this film, because we do think it's an important aspect of this film to understand the context of the day and why they thought the way that they did, because understanding the mistakes of our past helps us all move forward better. But some of the resources, if you watch this on HBO Max like I did, at least at the time that this is coming out on YouTube, TCM, Turner Classic Movies, has Jacqueline Stewart, who is an American cinema studies scholar, and she's a television host for Turner Classic Movies. She gives a kind of like, I think it's like 5 minutes long. She gives a little monologue about, not a monologue. She gives a little history lesson, really, just some context going into the movie. And I thought it was really good. And so I looked into, some of her stuff a little bit more. If you want to look into, some lectures that she gives there online. But something that I pulled up is there was a panel that TCM hosted back in 2019 that includes film historians, authors, producers, etc., which includes Jacqueline Stewart on that panel. And it's called the Complicated Legacy of Gone with the Wind. And I'll link it here below. It should be in the description of this video whenever we post this. But yeah, we thought it would be best to point you guys to the experts, because it's such a heavy topic, and we come here to like kind of like make jokes and like have fun and talk about like acting and stuff like that. But that's a really important aspect of this movie.
Definitely.
And if you're looking to really dive deep into that, I would highly recommend checking out that panel. I thought what they had to say was brilliant. So yeah, definitely. So
yeah, we can't ignore these movies.
Yeah,
I think that it's important that they're around, but we need context. And Jacqueline Stewart did a phenomenal job. I would recommend going to YouTube right now and watching what she said. If you did not watch the Turner Classic Movies version, these movies are important. We need to be seeing them.
Yeah.
And but you can't just erase them and take them down off of platforms. I think they all need context, especially the ones that have. There's a lot of uncomfortable stuff in this movie.
Totally. And that's it's just like we've said before with like Intolerance or D.W. Griffith's work, The Birth of a Nation, which is incredibly racist. When you go back further in American history, you are going back further into a country really that is in the country. Our country is ingrained with systemic racism, ignorance that is blended with the founding of our country that you can't ignore. And I think ignoring it just means like pretending it didn't happen. And so I think like you said, it's really important to keep these films alive, and so we can study the history, but then also talk about the founding of cinema and some of the great films,
right?
And hold them together.
Yeah.
So
we're looking at the movie today.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, we didn't want to have like two unqualified white guys talk about a bunch of the complicated history.
Right.
So go check out those videos, guys. They had really good stuff to say. But yeah, we're gonna go get into the film background of this movie. Yeah, so this was produced by David O. Selznick of Selznick International Pictures, and directed by Victor Fleming. It actually went through like
and George Cukor,
and
Sam Wood,
had like 3 different
Cameron
directors. Yeah, Victor Fleming's like the one credited for this, right? Yeah, but obviously stars Vivian Leigh, Clark Gable, Leslie Howard, Olivia de Havilland. Yeah, tons of all-star cast really, and Hattie McDaniel. And this was based on the novel published in 1936 of the same name, and this came out in 1939. So it's really like, barring the silent films we've watched, this is one of the oldest films we've watched on our channel so far, being at 1939. But the novel was written by Margaret Mitchell. The novel and film follow each other pretty closely, I would say. It doesn't really deviate too much. And it focuses on the American Civil War and the Reconstruction era of the South. Like we've talked about, it's a very exaggerated, highly romanticized version of the South.
So. Yeah, mythical.
Very mythical. Yeah, very revisionist history for sure. But it's of that era. And within that, you have a classic coming of age story within that context, and maybe somewhat of like a love triangle story, themes of redemption, all this stuff. Yeah, I didn't know this, but apparently this is a fact that people throw around. Adjusted for inflation, this is the highest grossing film of all time. Right. I didn't know that. Yep. And the current estimation is a global gross of around $3.44 billion. That's insane. I mean, I guess adjusted for inflation, it was just like the first huge movie. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Good segue. Upon its release, it was generally very well accepted by critics and audiences. The only criticism I could find was that it was too long. Because it's like 4 hours. Yeah. But yeah, it's like you said, it's like a play. They give you an intermission. They give you.
I would be interested to know how much concession money was taken in during this movie.
Yeah. People getting snacks.
Yeah. Well, just because they gave you, intermission, and they
especially if they charge for the restroom.
There we go.
But
you can make a lot of money off this
film. But yeah, it set like audience attendance records everywhere when it came out across the country and the world. So this was at the 12th Academy Awards, which is what number are we on right now of Academy Awards? Like 2025. When the 2026.
They started in 29, 27, 29.
Wow.
Oh, you said the 12th Academy Awards?
Yeah, this is the 12th.
So 1927.
Okay.
So
gotcha.
we're coming up on
like
100. Yeah.
Yeah, 90. Yeah, 99 this year.
Yeah.
But
yep.
Yeah, it's but this like kind of owned that Academy Awards.
Yes.
It set a record at the time for wins and nominations, winning in 8 of the competitive categories it was nominated in. and from a total of 13 nominations. It won 4. Are you ready for this?
Yes.
Best Picture, Best Actress, Best Supporting Actress, Best Director, Best Screenplay, Best Cinematography, Best Art Direction, Best Editing, and received 2 further honorary awards for its use of equipment and color. It became the first color film to win Best Picture. And then we have to mention, I didn't name anybody who won, but we have to mention this. Hattie McDaniel was the first African-American Oscar winner. So very cool. If you watch any of the TCM stuff I mentioned earlier, you know, kind of a sad fact, not a fun fact, but she, because of the Jim Crow laws at that time, she actually wasn't even allowed to sit with her fellow cast members at the awards, which is just insane that somebody winning the awards would have to be separated. But
stupid.
Yeah, very stupid. Yeah, no, exactly. Intolerant, one might say.
Yes.
But in 1989, it became one of the 25 inaugural films selected for preservation in the United States National Film Registry. And I do have some more fun facts. Did you have anything you'd like to mention?
I like your fun facts. No, I just we could talk about this. I even originally suggested we do 2 podcast episodes, but my son would not let me.
I didn't let him.
But I
saved you guys.
There are so many contrasts in this movie initially. Like, you know, you have this great film that shaped American pop culture, but it at the same time was distorting American history.
Totally. Yeah, that's good.
You know, it's constantly re-examined all the time for all the racist portrayals. Oh my goodness, it's very uncomfortable to watch in a lot of it, and it's sort of got a nostalgic frame around the Confederacy. Even the opening words at the very beginning,
I know,
just kind of set the tone.
Do you have them? I don't have them written down anywhere.
No, and I thought about doing it, but I'm telling you, I can't say enough about Jacqueline Stewart and what she said. I would urge you to go to see what she said. She's so articulate, so classy about the way she talks about the film and why it's important. Anyway, I don't want to keep the serious tone through the whole thing. I want to celebrate the film too.
Yeah, totally.
Anyway,
but yeah, no,
go with the fun facts. I've got a few. But you can go with yours.
Thanks for your input. You fill in where I miss, because I can see from here, guys, that he's got facts that I don't have.
We make fun of my large font.
Can you read those?
No.
Sorry. I'm making fun of an old man. I feel bad. I'm just kidding.
Okay.
Okay. He's like, this is the last episode we're filming again. First one. The scene where Atlanta was burned and on fire required burning 20 old movie sets. So it was David O. Selznick's studio, and they just basically lit his studio lot with kerosene and just torched it.
And also from under the ground had flames from
and they just torched it behind a painted scene of Civil War Atlanta, essentially. And but a little fun fact, within one of those sets was the sets from 1933 King Kong film. Was in, so they lit that on fire too. I thought that was funny. The train yard scene with all the bodies, like when they pan out and there's 1,000 something people sitting there. It required about 1,000 dummies and 950 extras, and so they would place the extras strategically and have them kind of flail to make it look like it was a bunch of real people. Some of them deceased, some of them injured. But yeah. Do you want to say? I have a couple more. Do you want me to finish and then you can say something?
Sure, go ahead and finish.
Clark Gable had dentures for this film after contracting a gum infection in 1933. So his breath was awful while filming this. And this is a quote from Vivian Lee. Am I saying her name right? Vivian Lee? Okay. I didn't know if it was Lay or Lee. But she, quote, and I quote, she said, "Kissing Clark Gable and Gone with the Wind was not that exciting. His dentures smelled something awful," is what she said. This is cool. George Reeves, who played one of the Tarleton twins, you already know this.
Yes.
With the red hair, at the beginning went on to play Superman from 1951 to 1958 in The Adventures of Superman. no relation to Christopher Reeve. They have different last names, Reeves and Reeve. But this is a wholesome one. But Clark Gable and Hattie McDaniel were like really buddy with each other on
Very
set.
good friends. Yeah.
And Clark Gable would prank her sometimes by replacing the fake cognac with actual cognac on the set. And so like he was like, but because they were such good friends, he actually initially refused to attend the Academy Awards because she was seated separately, and she actually was the one who convinced him to go.
Yeah.
And I don't know what her reasoning was behind that or anything, but you could look that up.
She just had a lot of class and was
she
was a good lady.
Totally. But yeah, that's all I've got for fun facts.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I was going to mention over 1,400 actresses were considered for the part of Scarlett O'Hara. I don't know how that Anyway, Bette Davis, Katharine Hepburn,
yes,
a lot of actresses that were considered starlets. Vivian Leigh showed up and was actually at the studio when they were filming The Burning of Atlanta, and she was picked then.
Wow. So they filmed that scene before they even picked her.
Yeah, they filmed a few of those scenes.
Crazy.
Clark Gable's contract required that he not cry on screen, but David O. Selznick pressured him anyway. We talk about David O. Selznick, he's the producer, but he was really the director.
Oh, okay. All right.
Because
they went through 3 directors.
Yeah. So
okay,
David O. Selznick, I believe, was really the head honcho.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. So the Atlanta burning was filmed early in the production because they needed to clear backlot space, and like you said, they used sets from the older films.
Yeah.
And that's it for my fun facts.
Cool. Awesome. Yeah. Well. First impressions. This is a funny thing. So I'd never seen this before, but my relation to this film is kind of like when you like don't know another language, but like the first thing you learn in another language is like all the dirty words of that language. Do you know what I'm talking about? Like when you like learn Spanish or something. Usually people.
No, I have never learned dirty words from other languages, and this is. Full confessions. Your mother's watching this. Go ahead.
Everybody knows what I'm talking about. When you're like, I first started taking German in middle school, and the first thing everybody's like, do you know how to say this in German? It's that's it.
Awful.
But I likened that to how I knew about this movie, because the only thing I knew about this movie was it was like the first time a cuss word was used in the frankly I don't give a hoot because we're a PG podcast. Yeah. Yeah, so that's kind of how I knew about this. But I thought I just want to say first, I thought it was very impressive for 1939. Like the scale was enormous. You could tell it was just this huge production when you watched it. And I just thought, like, me and Kylie started watching this together before she had to do some homework, but she mentioned like the colors and the art and everything was so immersive and lively. You just, even like the paintings they incorporated and the sets and everything, it felt like it was alive. It was really cool. But
well, everything was meticulous about the movie. You talked about the big, really fantastic scene of the makeshift morgue, really, where when
the train yard,
when Scarlett, the train yard, and every little detail. I mean, dirt on people's faces, all of it, the colors of all the costumes, all of it was very well planned out. I mean, you can see why a lot of money was spent on this film. Yeah. So
a little long for me. Yeah. But that's because I'm I see, whenever I think it like this is too long for me or something like that, I always see that as a flaw within myself and not the movie. I'm like, okay, this movie was good.
I think it's good to watch in a couple of chunks. Yeah. We watched it in 2 evenings. So.
Yeah, that was smart. I should have done that. I tried to watch it all in one sitting, and I had to like keep rewinding because I'd missed stuff.
Yeah,
I'm like,
sure.
Oh, this is killing me, my attention span. But yeah, any other first impression thoughts?
Well, I just have to say that I had not seen this for many years. I want to say it was the first movie shown on. There used to be a TV channel called TNT, Turner Network Television.
That's still a channel.
And is it still?
TNT?
TNT is still?
Yeah.
Okay, I haven't. Yeah. Anyway, it was when I believe that channel started in '89. I'm thinking.
Okay.
And I think this was the first movie shown, and I watched that channel when it came on the air. I was in college.
Oh.
And
yeah, that's like I watch basketball. They show basketball on TNT.
Yeah,
and stuff. It's
okay.
it's like one of the biggest channels.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
I haven't watched it in a while. I don't watch a lot of TV.
Well, that's good.
This podcast is a excuse for us to watch TV.
There you go.
Anyway, I had watched it earlier, and I am really struck by how I did not notice as much of the uncomfortable elements back then as a younger person than I do now. I mean, I was amazed. I wasn't amazed because I'd read enough about the film, and of course I'd seen it. I wasn't amazed that I was uncomfortable. I just realized that I was noticing a lot more as an older person. So
yeah. No, that's just like I feel like as we just learn more as a society, more is just revealed.
Definitely.
To you. So like you said, this film keeps getting re-examined for that because we keep learning more as a culture, you know. Right. Yeah, cool. No, good input. Getting into some of the themes of this movie, I picked out a few themes for us to discuss. We kind of talked about this a little bit beforehand, but I kind of picked out the theme of flawed protagonists and just what that means in a story and what that looks like. I think these two right here were so like, it was strange for me to watch because it was hard for me to root for them. And I think that made me care less about what happened to them. But maybe that's something that I need to work on, where it's like, it's just a story. You don't need to root for every protagonist because then every story is the same. But I think I had a hard time with that. And I don't know. What do you think about?
Well, both the characters are flawed.
Yes.
I think they both have endearing qualities. Rhett more than Scarlett.
Okay.
But I would agree. And yeah, we don't have to always like the leading players. We don't always have to sympathize with them.
Yeah.
We can kind of, look back and say this was a good story and she kind of got what she deserved, or, good for him or whatever. I don't necessarily think we always have to root for them.
Yeah. That's true.
I mean, and it definitely was different than the big happy ending story, that we're used to. So
yeah, when it ended, I was kind of like, wait, really? That's it? Because it almost leaves you on a cliffhanger. Yeah. Like, what's going to happen next?
Yeah. Well, and I don't know if you're like this, but in a lot of movies like that, if there is an open-ended ending, you picture her, what's she going to do with herself? Either she's going to be happy rebuilding Tara and she's going to be just fine on her own. She got plenty of money. She really, well, I'll get into that more, but later, but, or, is she going to get a hold of Rhett and convince him that, she really did love him all along, and there you go. Wow. So yeah, you can kind of make up your own ending.
Yeah. And that's, I was asking myself this when I was watching it too. It is the only reason I can't, because I found myself unable to sympathize with them. Not at all, but like for the most part, yeah. I didn't really, I thought that they were both extremely selfish and that made it hard for me to be like, do I want you to win? Do I want you? But do you think that was different for audiences back then? Do you think they maybe would have, because if we got to think about 1939, we got Jim Crow laws and stuff like that too, and if for an audience that maybe is romantically looking back to the South, like we aren't, do they automatically empathize with Rhett and Scarlett in a way that we don't?
I don't know. I think my first gut reaction is to say, what we were saying in an earlier podcast.
Okay.
Rhett and Scarlett, very attractive.
Oh yeah.
You know, good chemistry between the two of them. You kind of root for them. I think you root for them thinking that they're going to turn good.
Like we were saying in The Night of the Hunter, how the preacher is attractive and he uses that.
Yeah.
It's almost like they do that with the actual audience.
Right.
Okay.
They want you. They want you to. They want you to find a little bit, and if it's just surface level stuff, like these are two good looking people, maybe they're going to change each other.
Yeah, maybe. Oh man, that's a good point.
Rhett's from money. He's probably the black sheep of his family. He hangs out at Belle Watling's whorehouse. Am I supposed to say that word? Sorry.
Brothel.
Brothel. Sorry about that,
That's
guys.
Okay.
He plenty of money though, and he kind of pursues, bad boy type things. But I think underneath all of that, he wants to settle down and be respectable and all that. And for the most part, he is respectable. I mean, people think a lot of him. Scarlett is a brat. She's a brat throughout the whole movie. Yeah. She's spoiled rotten. She's very much into the power, the money. That's the most important thing to her, is regaining the power and the money. She throughout the whole movie talks about, I don't want white hands picking cotton anymore. That's part of the uncomfortable qualities.
But
of
that's
the
like
movie.
speaking to her desire for power.
Yes,
and wealth.
power and money and wealth.
Yeah.
I just think that underneath everything with her too, with her being a spoiled brat, is she always wants what she can't have. For some reason, she's early on attracted to Ashley Wilkes, maybe because he is a well-read gentleman with an English accent when everyone else has a Southern accent.
Yeah, that's kind of funny. Yeah, that was funny.
A lot of people had a hard time, like, you're picking Ashley over Rhett. Well, I just think it's initially not about the way they. I'm not saying Ashley Wilkes wasn't a nice looking guy.
Sure.
I'm just saying there was more. Rhett had more to offer, I guess, is what I'm saying. But she always wanted what she couldn't have.
Yeah.
And then she finds out that Rhett's not interested in her anymore. She realizes she likes him. And did she really fall in love with him, or did she just realize that he doesn't want me back and I want him now, and all this?
Yeah.
I don't know. That we could talk about this for hours.
Sure.
About all the different little side tangents you could go out on.
Well,
but
and it's funny that you say the whole like why, like some people might have been like, why was she attracted to Ashley? Why would you pick her?
Yeah.
This is a little side note. Leslie Howard apparently wrote, like, in his own personal journal that because he was like 40 at the time, playing someone in his 20s.
Yeah.
And he wrote in his
Scarlett was supposed to be 16 when the movie started.
Yeah, which is crazy, the age gap.
But I mean, she still pulled it off.
Sure. But the Leslie Howard wrote in his journal, he said that he like disagreed with the choice to make him look younger. He was like, I don't think this is convincing. I don't think I'm this young, attractive. I don't think people can see that. And it was like, so it was a struggle for him too. He was like, I don't get why.
Well, they tried, but you could still tell he was older, in the movie.
Yeah. So yeah, cool. The next theme I wanted to kind of touch on is the theme of ambition, which is very central to the plot. Even before Scarlett's big speech, like, I will never, as God is my witness, I will never go hungry again. She says things like, I've come to understand that money is the most important thing in the world, stuff like that. Her ambition shifts to like rebuilding Tara from the ashes, so to say. But I kind of thought this almost like blinds her, because it seems like she, I don't know. It kind of, she has nothing. Everything's been torn down. She has nothing anymore. And then it's almost like what to do next. And that almost gives her a reason to keep going. And it's almost like she needs this ambition, but in a way it's used in that moment for survival, but then she holds on to it for too long because it gets in the way of her relationships with people, of actual happiness and stuff. So I don't know. What do you think about that?
Well, I mean, she's in survival mode for a long time, but then it becomes a battle for self self-reinvention after that. She's all about, getting back to the way things were for herself. She's focusing inward on, being that cute little 16-year-old Southern belle again, where the guys are all fawning over her.
Sure.
She loved that,
Yeah, there's like a part of her that wants that back.
Yeah.
Do you think how does the story change if she has a moment of self-awareness? Because I feel like she has 0 moments of self-awareness.
Well,
in the movie,
I think little tiny glimpses of it. Like,
sure.
Did you see when Rhett and Bonnie Blue came back? This is later in the story, of course.
Yeah.
When Rhett and Bonnie Blue came back from England, and they came up the stairs after she greets Bonnie, and she looks at Rhett with her face just for a little bit, and he looks back at her with not a very good look, and then her face changes. I think for a minute she's really happy to see him. She's so glad he came back. That might be the moment when she's like, I do love this guy. I missed him. But then she realizes that he's ticked off still, or whatever he is. And so she changes back to, well, I don't care.
Yeah, I guess I didn't notice that.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. I think she has little glimpses of, realizing I could do the right thing, but she dismisses it, and goes back to her selfish ways. So very stubborn.
Yeah, this is one of and this is not necessarily a theme, but more of like a question that's posed throughout the film. Do you think Scarlett and Rhett were ever actually in love with each other? And why or why not?
I think they were in lust for a while. I mean,
yes, for sure.
I thought the scene where he kissed her real hard on the mouth, and as he's leaving, she says, "Aren't you going to kiss me goodbye?"
Yeah, ridiculous.
He's like, you've been kissed enough, sister.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
I really think that Rhett thought she was beautiful, was attracted to her initially, felt like he could tame her maybe a little bit.
Okay.
And then he also felt like he could rescue her. And I think all those things together, there must have been a time when he wanted to care for her and was in love with her. But I don't know. I don't. You probably we would need some more backstory on Rhett. But I'm just wondering, if you get real analytical, if he was indeed the black sheep of his wealthy family, and he is sort of this roguish guy that's like, I don't need anybody. Maybe his idea of being in love was different than everybody else's, and it's not the normal.
Yeah,
it's not the normal romantic story that we're used to in movies like this. And same with Scarlett. I don't know that she. I think maybe she thought, as long as somebody's fawning all over me, and somebody's taking good care of me, and not making me lift a finger, that's love. So I don't know if either one of them really know what love is.
They didn't know what it is. Yeah. So that's
do I think they were
point.
ever in love with one another? I think that their relationship evolved and grew and turned into something that maybe they thought was love.
Sure.
But I don't know.
At least for a moment. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, because that's such a good question. Their relationship is so complicated throughout the whole time, which is really like sign of like great writing and great directing,
right?
Because it's so complicated, you almost can't line it up with what you can't define it,
Yeah. But he did. I mean, I think Rhett hoped through the whole story that she would forget Ashley. So that had to be something. Right. That had to be something where he was wanting to make her forget Ashley. He was waiting for the day when she said, "I don't love Ashley. I was a fool to love Ashley," but she was too stubborn to admit it. Because she still did. Yeah. She wanted what she couldn't have, especially after he married Melanie. And I think that Rhett was holding on to that. So he must have either loved her or had such a incredible need to win. I don't know.
Well, you wonder if
you really could dive deep on that relationship.
And I wonder if they're almost like mirrored of each other, because he might also be that kind of spoiled brat where he also wants what he can't have. Maybe. Because he finds that she's infatuated with Ashley, and then he's kind of has, I wouldn't say love, but I would say infatuation with her. But then like the moment at the end where she's like, I do love you, actually. And I think she only says that because she realizes he's about to leave and she wants to keep him there.
Yeah.
And then he's like, well, now that she loves me, I don't care. I'm out.
Yeah.
So frankly, I'm out.
Yeah. Frankly, my dear,
Yeah.
I do think also that he likes excitement, constant excitement. So that's why he's friends with Belle Watling and her bunch at the brothel.
Yeah.
I
Part
think
of his idea of love is thrill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he enjoys his friendship with Mammy because Mammy is a Spitfire and she gives it right back to him, and you know she has her red petticoat and all that stuff. I think he has the capacity to love because you know he's completely devoted to Bonnie Blue, and his scenes after she dies, you know, Clark Gable did not want to cry, but Selznick pushed him to. Great scenes.
Totally.
I mean, really well done.
It was the right choice.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I don't know what I keep talking and then I forget what you asked me initially.
I don't think the point is to answer the question.
Okay.
No, it was just like were they in love or not?
Yeah.
And that was a great discussion.
Yeah. I don't know.
Cool. Yeah. No, I don't think we're supposed to.
I don't think we're supposed to.
Yeah. That's cool. If you directed it, do you have that?
If I directed it, yes, I
if
do.
If I directed
have
every movie, it would all be better.
If I directed every movie,
I put that.
You go ahead.
Yeah, the only thing other than the obvious like problematic stuff, maybe the long run time, I would have maybe put in just a few more things that would help me sympathize with Rhett and Scarlett more.
Yeah.
Only because, like I said, it almost became boring to me at certain points, just because I didn't care about what happened to them. Like it wasn't even like I want to see what kind of trouble this gets them in. It was like I have no one to root for. I'm just kind of watching this play out. So yeah.
I don't know. I think things that I talked about adding would have changed the whole picture, and it would probably been a flop if I directed it. I mean, I definitely would have. You know, of course, everybody would say, "Can we have a more realistic portrayal of the Old South?"
Yes,
it would be a whole different film.
Totally.
Could part of the movie be trimmed, restructured? What if we gave the black characters more agency?
Yeah.
Could we have expanded the Rhett Scarlett relationship? Could we have explored the emotional? Could we given them more emotional beats? I don't know. These are all like questions that I ask. Would I have done any of that? Probably not. I don't think I would have messed with it. But you know, you have to wonder how would things have changed a little bit. You know, part of my casting swap ideas have the same questions attached to some of the choices that I would pick for casting swaps. So
yeah. Awesome. Well, speaking of casting swaps, we won't get there yet.
Okay.
We'll start with just like some of the acting and casting decisions and stuff like that. If you want to take over,
sure.
But yeah.
Of course, let's start with Vivian.
Cool. Who you said was hired after they had shot some scenes.
After they shot some scenes, and Paulette Goddard, who was in Modern Times, an earlier film that we talked about. Was really going to be Scarlett O'Hara.
Oh, I could totally see her in that role.
And if you go to YouTube, you can see some of the screen tests for Scarlett with other actresses playing her scenes. And
really?
It's really cool to watch. And there is a documentary on the making of Gone with the Wind, which has extensive, and I would like to take some time to look at that again. I watched it before when it was on years ago.
Cool.
But Vivian Leigh was a stage actress. She was chosen very late in the casting process. They'd already cast most of the folks. Vivian Leigh was married to Laurence Olivier eventually. Not at that time, she was not. But what's funny is Paulette Goddard and Charlie Chaplin were not married, but were living together, and people were worried about that and like, oh, I don't know about this, you know.
Sure.
But then, boy, when Vivian Leigh came along, they were both married, Laurence Olivier and Vivian Leigh, but they were really together. And
they were married to other people and they were together.
Yeah, but they were like, oh yeah, she's perfect. Don't worry about that, you know. But
That's
they were kind of they were worried about it with Paulette Goddard.
Oh
you
my
know,
gosh.
And Charlie Chaplin.
Wow.
Vivian Leigh had mental health issues throughout her life. We now know that probably she suffered from bipolar disorder. It was highly misunderstood. They thought she was nuts a lot of times, and they weren't very sensitive to that. And she ended up getting tuberculosis and died, I think, in her early 60s.
Wow.
She won another Oscar for A Streetcar Named Desire, Marlon Brando, and in 1951. Okay. And she was excellent, and she played an aging Southern belle in that movie, which is interesting.
Oh, she's like Scarlett O'Hara.
Yeah,
but
Scarlett
older.
O'Hara aged.
That's cool.
But Vivien Leigh had such emotional depth in the roles that I've seen her in. She had very good stage training. All those British actors, they're just better. I have to say it. And, you know, she's just magnetic. She's a magnetic person.
Well, every time she was on screen, you couldn't help.
Oh, you can't take your eyes off her. Yeah. She's beautiful. She's a beautiful lady.
Well, she kind of just like, other than that, she just kind of like commands attention.
Yeah, she does.
With her presence.
Yep. The way she walks, the way she looks at all of it. Yep. I thought it was really good. She went from age 16 to 28 in the film. And
how old was she during shooting?
I don't know. I didn't look at it.
That's all right.
Maybe you could look it up while I'm talking.
Yeah, I'll type with one finger.
But she did she just the way she carried herself, you know, all the fiddle-dee-dee stuff when she was 16 and on she went. It was amazing to me how she was such a brat, so driven to regain money and power, yet you still have to admit that you want
25.
25, okay. You still have to admit that you want Scarlett to be okay. I'm sure audiences were rooting for her to have that moment where she's like, I'm a brat.
I did. There was that. I wanted her to have a moment of clarity.
Yeah,
for sure.
And I think audience were left largely with the fact that, well, we sure hope that she gets Rhett back. Yeah. I mean, they need to be happy together, and maybe she'll turn it around. Clark Gable was known as the King of Hollywood, largely charismatic. He was rebellious in real life, and I think this lended itself to the role of Rhett Butler. You know, he was known for rough masculinity, sort of like Marlon Brando and Robert Mitchum and all these guys we're talking about. Maybe that's the theme of these movies we've been watching lately.
Rugged masculinity.
Yeah, rugged masculinity.
Well, if you want that, just watch the podcast. Rugged masculinity.
You're looking at it, right? The two examples right here. Clark Gable was very much part of the studio system. He was a rogue. He got into a lot of gambling issues, women issues with other women. He fathered a child with Loretta Young, and it was covered up. That's a whole nother story.
Oh, my.
And the studio protected him from all that, so much so that the gossip columnists of the day were on his side. So he was a charmer.
That's crazy.
But Clark Gable, what was amazing about him, I think, as an actor, was he brought a lot of the important swagger and emotional intelligence that Rhett Butler needed for that role. And again, I said one of the scene stealers for me was his crying scene. He was phenomenal in that, and he did not want to cry, but David O. Selznick pushed him to, and I'm glad he did. Yeah. Here comes Olivia de Havilland, who seems to be, you know, the saintly Melanie. You did not mess with Olivia de Havilland in real life, and there's a whole lot of stories about lawsuit that she had against one of the studios. I'm not going to go into it, but she has a whole. That's cool. She has a whole lawsuit situation named after her because of it. So look at that. It's a contract dispute, and she won. But, you know, Olivia de Havilland was known for grace and poise. She was the epitome of those.
She was the only one I liked in this movie.
Really?
Genuinely. She was.
Very emotionally clear. So much so, she was known for these roles. She played a villain later on. Might have played more than a villainess later on. And you don't really know she's the villain until you know it, because she's always played such good ladies. Yeah. She I think that with Melanie's character, she had to be so dignified and so restrained, and Olivia de Havilland was the perfect actress for that. Joan Fontaine, her sister, and they were known to have quite a feud. their entire life.
Olivia de Havilland's sister?
Yeah, Joan Fontaine.
Okay.
Joan Fontaine was a front runner for Scarlett, which would have been super interesting if they had cast her.
Why did they have a rivalry?
They were both actresses. They both won Oscars.
They just didn't like each other?
Olivia won 2 and Joan won 1.
Ooh. Uh-oh.
But I don't know. I don't know what happened with all of them. And sometimes those feuds are played up for press. Anyway.
Sure.
You don't know what to believe.
Gossip columns.
Sure. But I think Joan Fontaine recommended Olivia for the role of Melanie because she certainly didn't want to play it. And I don't know. There's probably a backstory there. We go on to Hattie McDaniel, who is my personal favorite.
She's awesome.
Love her. I love her in everything she does. I hate that she was relegated at the time to roles as a maid or a domestic or whatever she did.
Mm-hmm.
But she did famously say, I could make $7 a week being a maid, or I could make $750 a week playing a maid. So she
made peace with it. It sounds
she accepted what was going on at the time, I guess.
Yeah.
However, she did fight. She took all the reviews for Gone with the Wind into David O. Selznick's office, I believe, and plopped them down on his desk to show him so that he'd put her up for the Best Supporting Actress because the producers and directors had to, recommend.
That's awesome.
Put them up for those.
She really when we saw her in Since You Went Away in our previous, but she took those roles that were very limiting and transcended them.
And
sure.
when any role that she played in, she was always smarter than most of the people in the cast, which good for her. She just brought an unmatched intelligence to her roles. Her roles were grounded in realism. I mean, I'm going to go ahead and get off track here, but the scene stealer for me a lot of times was her talking under her breath about being ticked off at Scarlett, and that kind of stuff. But she's just a lot of fun.
Well, you could almost argue that. So we just talked about On the Waterfront in previous film, so Marlon Brando's touted for this realism and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Hattie McDaniel's doing that way before
she would
anybody.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I would say her performance is, and I'm probably not the only person who said that, I would say her performance is the film's most emotionally truthful role.
Yeah.
Because there's a melodramatic quality to this film, of course.
Totally.
Hers is the most real.
Yeah.
I think that Butterfly McQueen as Prissy could have gotten there too, but they wanted her to provide some comic element. It cracked me up whenever she was supposed to be racing down to get help for Melanie having the baby or whatever, and she comes in the gate going la 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 la. I mean, that was just hilarious.
What's happening?
She's very much known for her comedic roles because she had that high pitched voice. Even I'd seen her interviewed as an older lady. She was one of the oldest surviving cast members. Of course, Olivia de Havilland won because she was 104 when she died.
Yeah.
But Butterfly McQueen, I think, with this role, she really crafted this real subversive performance beneath the stereotype, I guess.
Oh, cool. Okay. Yeah, I see what you mean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That I don't know nothing line, it's iconic because you've heard it a lot. I don't know nothing about birthing babies. But if you go back to that scene, it's deeply fraught. I mean, it was well done,
Yes.
So I would say she's overshadowed often because Hattie McDaniel's so brilliant, but Butterfly McQueen, good stuff as well.
Nice.
And then Leslie Howard, I think, was honest about his role, but I still think he did a good job.
I think so too. I was just saying what he said about himself.
Yeah, he thought he was miscast.
Yes.
He disliked the role. I still thought he gave it his all and did a decent job. He did a good job of playing Ashley as a man who is trapped by ideals that he no longer believes in, because he tells Scarlett, I would, after my father died, I would have freed all these slaves anyway.
Yeah.
So there are some. Ashley's character is important. He's important to the story. He's important for the things that he says. as well. And then Leslie Howard, I don't know if you know this, but he was his plane was shot down in 1942 in the war, and he died. So
Whoa.
he died, not too long after.
I didn't know he was a war veteran in World War II. Wow.
Yeah, and so was Clark Gable. Anyway, lots of interesting stories with all these actors, but
that's so cool.
There were so many good side performances too with the supporting cast, and we could spend two or three other episodes.
There were like a million people.
Their entire podcast on Gone with the Wind.
Yeah.
Several episodes. So
that's
my take on the acting.
Great.
Yeah.
Loved it. Thank you for your research.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it seems like we've barely scraped the surface.
Oh yeah.
So 2 podcast episodes makes sense, but I think we still.
I told you.
I think we still covered like our ground here, and we just wanted to talk about kind of just the main points.
Yeah.
I didn't want to like do a deep dive.
Yeah.
But some of our closing questions. What was your scene stealer? Or do you have any more acting notes?
Oh no,
I can read your laptop from here. So
if you don't quit, anyway, I just had down. Melanie was the moral center.
Yeah.
Mammy was the emotional center.
Yeah.
Ashley was the foil. Anyway, Ashley was Scarlett's sentimental delusion made flesh.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I will say so like for my scene stealer, like Hattie McDaniel, I put that she was like the conscience of the film.
Yes.
Where she's like kind of there like direct, but I put that Vivian Lee is like the engine that runs the whole show.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
And she kind of rotates around her.
Yeah.
Which I should have written this down. I mentioned in a previous episode, the pay disparity between her and Clark Gable was like enormous.
Yeah.
Which is crazy because you don't have this film without Vivian Lee. She's a powerhouse, driving this whole thing.
Yeah. I think the scene stealing for me, Hattie McDaniel had little quiet confrontations with Scarlett. Those were fun.
Yes.
And poignant. Rhett carrying Scarlett up the staircase has been talked about. Was it an attack? Was it?
Yeah.
And I'm not downplaying it.
Yeah.
But Scarlett wakes up the next day fresh faced and happy is all I can say. Yeah. And I'm not downplaying it, but it was a different time, and that was really controversial to have something like that in a 1939 film.
Yeah.
And her shooting the guy in the face,
yes,
the soldier, that was a big deal in 39. So there were a lot of
push the boundaries.
There were a lot of uncomfortable things that happened in this film, apart from all of the uncomfortable racial stuff too.
Yeah.
That they are what they are. You don't know. I mean, you could spend a lot of time unpacking all of it.
They also they talk about that stuff in the panel that I have linked at the bottom of this video as well.
Even about that did Rhett Butler rape her?
Yes.
Did they?
That's on the panel. So that discussion.
Yeah. So that's another thing, and there are just a lot of uncomfortable things. In the movie.
Totally. But
I think
even like. And I get what you're trying to say, like even uncomfortable for that audience.
Yes.
Because the racial stuff would not have been uncomfortable for them in 1939.
No,
they would have been
all.
like fine with it.
No.
But even that, like even maybe the violence stuff, which we might be comfortable with, where we were like, yeah, it's just some violence. Back then they were like,
yeah, but I mean, she shot him right in the face, and it showed a lot more than they show usually in a movie.
Yeah.
I think that scene wise, that Atlanta hospital, that dolly shot where they pan back and there's Scarlett looking around, that is like breathtaking even today.
It's like a lot of these shots were like Renaissance paintings.
Yeah.
They were beautiful.
Yeah, well, like I said, they were meticulous with every little detail of all that,
Yeah.
So, okay.
Cool.
Yep.
Yeah. Do you have any interesting casting swap ideas for this film?
Funny you should mention that. Again, like what if we had some big actresses of the day? Betty Davis. Betty Davis played a Scarlett O'Hara type character in a movie called Jezebel, which we need to watch someday. What about Greta Garbo? She was a big deal. She would have brought a whole new, probably a darker edge, not quite the fresh face.
Okay.
I thought about Cary Grant possibly for the Rhett Butler.
Yeah.
There would have been a lighter, quippier. He wouldn't have been the
Yeah.
rogue. And
Rhett Butler was like almost kind of scary. Just a little scary. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you like he could snap your neck into it or something
exactly.
like that,
He's a little tough.
Right.
And Cary Grant would have been less.
Dorothy Dandridge was a beautiful African-American actress of the day. What if she had played Mammy? What she would have brought a total different reimagined version of Mammy. Could have made Mammy a central protagonist in that case because she was alluring and beautiful. I think she was the first African-American lady to be nominated for a Best Actress Oscar, I think.
Wow.
She was in a movie called Carmen Jones.
Okay. Cool.
But beautiful, talented lady.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I just thought about her, as a possibility there too.
That's great.
And then I thought, what about Henry Fonda as Ashley? He was younger.
Yeah.
There's
actually Leslie Howard might have agreed with you.
Yeah.
Been like, hey.
Yeah. And Henry Fonda was handsome enough that we could buy that. And I'm not saying Leslie Howard wasn't handsome. He was handsome.
No, he just thought he was miscast.
Yeah.
So.
And Henry Fonda would have had a lot more. Henry Fonda back then, a lot of his roles, he was very vulnerable, and played that, although he wasn't like that in real life.
Yeah.
He played a lot of parts like that. So anyway, I'm probably talking too much. Go.
No, this is all great. This is, you keep apologizing for digressions, but that's the whole point.
Yeah.
Gotcha. No, I just got one interesting one. I thought, this is one of my favorite modern actresses. But I thought that Rachel McAdams could have played Scarlett O'Hara pretty well.
One of your favorites. Yeah.
Yeah. I think she's awesome. But if not, probably my favorite actress right now. But I think she has all the range to provide the growth, the different aspects of, maybe she could have brought even some more sympathy to the role.
Might have changed the whole dynamic.
Totally.
It's like you don't want to mess with any of it.
Yeah, exactly.
But let's see what would have happened here,
But yeah. Do you have any more notes on? I don't want to we can go a little longer if you want. If you have more notes on acting or anything. But also I don't want to pressure you to keep talking.
I mean, we still need to talk about double feature.
Oh yeah, we'll do that at the end.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't really have any. No, I kind of talked about the other.
Okay. Well, then we could just go into the closing.
Okay.
Yeah. What's your double feature?
Double feature. I mentioned Jezebel with Bette Davis. She's sort of a proto Scarlett. That's from 1938, which that would have already happened.
Okay.
Of course, there's a 2003 movie called Cold Mountain, which has the Civil War perspective. Ooh. It's very much more of a grounded Civil War perspective. So it would be interesting to see that.
Yeah.
Daniel Day-Lewis won an Oscar for Lincoln in 2012. There's really a historical counterbalance there that might work.
Yeah.
And then we've got to watch this movie. It's one of my all-time favorite.
Okay.
The Heiress, 1949, with Olivia de Havilland. She won an Oscar for it.
Ooh.
And it shows her as a tough cookie.
Nice.
And she goes from sort of her Melanie, even meeker and I don't know. She transforms during the movie. It might just be fun to watch it to show that she's got some chops where she could really play somebody that. We need to watch that one.
You know what I think we should. You guys tell me if this is a good idea. I just had this idea right now, so it's fresh off the cuff.
Oh boy,
we should have some series or something where we do like your favorites. And my favorites.
Yeah.
And we we watch them together. I think that'd be awesome.
Well, I was thinking about that on the way over here. I thought, we should do a month of movies that I've already seen that I want you to see, and vice versa.
Yeah, like we show each other. Yeah, movies that you haven't seen that I've seen.
Yep.
That's awesome.
Yep.
Okay, cool. Anyway, we're getting off track. Okay, I've got two that I picked for this for a double feature, and they kind of work almost together. Have you seen There Will Be Blood by Daniel Day-Lewis?
No, but I want to.
Okay, so that's like supposed to be one of the greatest films ever. But to me, that movie is almost a character study into a person who has like reasonless ambition. who is just driven, who is like constantly in a race, who wants to win everything, who wants to gain everything for no reason. There's no end goal in mind. It's just this endless ambition.
Yeah.
And to me, that's what Scarlett has in this movie, where it's just, I want to rebuild Terra. Like, what does that even mean? What's the end goal? What's that even?
Why?
And so, and it blinds. And I think that's kind of this is really focused in on that, I think. But that was one. So I thought that'd be a really cool comparison to watch, like a character study.
Yeah.
But then I also thought of like, okay, what's a good like Civil War thing? Have you seen Django Unchained?
No.
By Quentin Tarantino?
You've talked a lot about it.
It's so that's like if you're mad about some of the racial injustice in this movie, go watch Django Unchained because Quentin Tarantino, if anything, no matter what you say about him, he's really good at is the word comeuppance, or like you get he's really good at that, at feeling like they got what's coming to him. He almost mythologizes the South the opposite way, where all of these like Leonardo DiCaprio gives I don't think he won, but like an award-winning performance of like a wealthy slave owner in the South, and Leonardo DiCaprio, his character, like he's so dumb that he like mispronounces words sometimes, and he doesn't really know what's going. And it's like that's the like all these racists are super stupid, and then this slave goes and like,
and you feel
it's awesome. I thought that was kind of like if you want like a different portrayal. Go watch Django Unchained. It's definitely it's rated R, so like watch out. But
you've talked about that being a good one. So
I think it's actually one of my favorite films, if not one of the greatest films ever made. Genuinely
good.
Were you finished with your double feature?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yep.
Well, we're about What's your final takeaway? What would you? I'm glad that the good guys won the war. Long live the Union. Long live. I don't know.
You know that Margaret Mitchell did not know until she was older that the South lost?
Are you kidding me?
No, because of the way her family talked about it, and
Wait, she wrote the book though.
Well, by the time she wrote the book, she knew.
Oh, I understand. Okay, I thought you meant she wrote the book and was still like
she based Scarlett on her grandmother, and her grandmother, and they all talked, very.
That's awful, but it's so interesting to me.
Well, there's
like,
a lot.
Man.
You could do another several episodes on Margaret Mitchell and the writing of the book.
Man.
But yeah, I thought that was both kind of funny and also interesting and also shocking.
Yes.
So
it's incredibly shocking.
Yeah.
Oh man.
There's a lot of shock in this whole story.
Wow.
So
long live the Union.
Yeah.
The North. What would you rate this? How would you recommend this to people?
Well, I mean, and my takeaway was, again, this is an important film. It's one of it's the biggest money maker of all time.
Mm-hmm.
It's super important in the history of cinema. It's got to be watched. But it's got to be watched with context.
Totally.
And we can't, it's important, and I just think people should watch it. I think people should watch other films that examine these same themes as well. And I'm glad we looked at it.
Yeah. Because it's important to because this film is obviously super important for several reasons, but it's important to look back and go, okay, how were these injustices perpetuated? How did people let this stuff happen?
Right.
How were these mistakes made so we can, like I've said several times in this episode, so we don't repeat them. Right. But yeah, I think it's a wildly important film, just apart from that of its own.
If you look at it as just a film, it was well done.
Yeah.
Great performances. So there's just lots of takeaways.
Totally. How would you rate it out of 10 for you?
Because I thought it was a little too melodramatic, and I think that's what happened when you have 4 different directors and really the producer's the director. I probably, even though it was a great film, I probably would have to give it like a 7.5 because I thought the melodramatic quality was a little much.
Yeah.
In a lot of cases.
I gave it a 7.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, still.
Yeah. But yeah, guys, I just realized I haven't done this for like the past 3 episodes, but thank you for watching.
Yeah.
Like and subscribe down below.
If you've been with us
for
16 episodes.
16. Yep. 16 episodes.
We appreciate it very much.
Very
You get
much
a gold
so.
star.
And if you haven't, there's plenty of stuff to go back and watch. It's
Yeah.
always going to be up. So
If you've been here
there you
since the
go.
beginning, message us down.
Yeah, seriously.
Maybe we'll do a shout out. We should do a
Ooh,
shout out next and say,
honestly.
here are the people. Could we do that?
That'd be cool. Yeah, you totally can. We can. Yeah, guys, if you've watched all of our episodes up until this point, let us know. You can honestly just comment below and we'll shout you out.
Or you can email.
I don't think I actually have it on our YouTube channel, so I probably need to say this. But if I do, then I'm mistaken. But it's just all one word, all lowercase, the title of our podcast, Movie Nights with Dad @gmail.com. That's it. So just Movie
Let
Nights
us
with
know.
Dad
Let us know.
@gmail.com. Yeah.
We might even, let's just name a whole podcast episode.
We just
after.
list people's names. Just, hey,
Well, 'cause
thanks,
it's probably-
Bob.
It's probably just one. You could call it
like
Grandma Thanks or something like that because
thanks,
it's Grandma.
Thanks,
I
Grandma.
don't even think your own mother or
We
your
should say-
brothers and sisters or
No,
one.
my wife doesn't even watch this podcast. We're so lame. No, I'm just kidding. No. But thank you guys for watching.
Yes, thank you. We appreciate it.
Yeah. Thank you, Dad.
Thank you, son. Love you.
I love you too. Bye, guys.
Bye, everybody.